We spent the past couple of years in a crazy hot market. Louisville home sales decline as demand outpaces supply. Effective communication is at the core of any situation. If you master these two ideas, you'll have a chance of being successful at residential real estate marketing. I think you need to be looking for investment opportunities that move the needle. The market will never crash if demand exceeds supply. This is what I've been telling you all along.
This is the Jay Pitts Show.
And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the Jay Pitts Show. I'm your host, Jay Pitts, here with Ryan Harris. Ryan, it's a good day.
Yeah, it is. We got a lot to talk about.
A lot on the rundown. We won't get to it all. I think we have to start in this. Okay, you go ahead. You go ahead.
So,
he gave me the one finger in the air that said like point of order.
This was very cool coming in here to iHeartRadio. I haven't seen this yet when we came in, but I guess there might be a U.S. citizenship testing facility on 4th Street. And when I was walking in today, I'm not sure if you saw, there was all kinds of people down on 4th Street taking pictures with American flags.
Did not know that.
They got their U.S. citizenship today. Just really cool to see. Just people out there crying, just so happy to be official citizen of the United States, and had no clue that was there. So day I saw it, I was like, it makes me proud to be an American right there.
Didn't know that. I also find that incredibly moving. I think some natural-born American citizens could take a lot from that.
Yeah.
Things we take for granted, right? We are a bit spoiled, as a collective. I won't say all. Certainly do my best not to represent that spoiled, entitled kind of few, but it's out there. Something I strive to teach my kids. Like, you are very fortunate. You are very blessed.
How many Americans do you think born Americans could pass the U.S. citizenship test?
I think it would be almost like those, I think Jay Leno started it. This is probably before your time, but he used to do street interviews on his show, and that's been copycatted multiple times in other programs. But I think it's one of those. It would be cringy.
Yeah.
It would be cringy how poorly.
It's like those viral videos of people going around asking pretty simple math questions, or just how many states are there in the United States, asking people on a bar strip, and people have no idea.
So the funniest to me is when they go and they ask questions and the people say obscenely incorrect answers, but then the host, the guy with the mic or the girl with the mic, they tell them they're correct, and then they start to brag and be excited, oh wow, I did. God, so cringy, awful. Anyway,
you did say past my time, so I need to bring up, it's Jay's birthday.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Happy birthday. I'm not going to sing for you because everybody listening to the radio show right now would turn it off.
Would tune out. Marcy asked if I was going to sing to myself, and I said no. I said, if Ryan wants to sing, he can, but I bet he won't. I'll just say, for the very same reason I won't sing to you on your birthday, because that would not be pleasing to the ears for the listeners here.
You said I have a soft jazz voice. My singing is not soft or jazz-like. So.
Well, it is what it is. No, it's a good day, man. It's a good day. And I must say, Tesla Cybertruck gets released on my birthday. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. I will probably not get one for a while. But if you're
you get to choose when you want one?
No.
It's not
no. So they started taking reservations in 2019. I made my $100 reservation. So it's not really a reservation. It's honestly probably one of the most, how we talked about the Barstool rebuy as one of the best business moves in the history of, business. This might be up there. Okay. So Tesla reportedly has over 2 million Cybertruck pre-orders at $100 a piece.
Because it was the beginning of COVID and people are just sitting at home.
Well, it started before COVID in 2019, which is why I'm in the middle there. I'm at about 1 million, I think. So far, from what I can tell. Apparently, there is a trick, a website you can go to, and you can put in this confirmation number, and they'll tell you that something to do with the VIN numbers and all that stuff and how they sequence them. Well, anyway, I'm 1 million. Okay. But Tesla got a $200 million interest-free loan from the American public. Okay. And yeah, it's refundable and they may end up giving it back, but they've had that money through tumultuous times.
Yeah.
$200 million free loan. Anyway, pretty amazing situation if you ask me. I'm consistently amazed by Elon Musk.
Yeah. That just brought up something I think about regularly and sometimes read about. So you're talking about interest-free loan.
Yeah.
So think about Starbucks app. People load their money in there. That's giving Starbucks interest-free money. And I think the amount of money, I'll have to check the article to confirm, but they're like one of the top 10 banks in the United States with money in the Starbucks app.
Wow.
Just
Well,
sitting there.
unredeemed gift cards is like, it's like corporate charity. Like you're just but the gift card was the greatest idea. Like I'm waiting for technology to completely destroy gift cards, and they're trying to make them electronic and all this thing, and everybody's got an app, and I get that, but like, man, oh wow.
Well, the gift card thing, it's like tangible when you give it as a gift.
Exactly.
It's not the same as doing it digital.
Exactly. There's no majesty to it. Like it's not like you gave somebody a gift when you send them a text with like an e-card or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, that stuff always amazes me. On the Cybertruck, I'll tie a bow on it. I'm guessing 50% redeem. So I'm 1 million. They've announced that their max capacity that they don't even have a shot at hitting until 2025 is 250,000 units a year. Okay. To put it in perspective, Ford sold 600,000 F-150s last year. Okay. So if they can manufacture 250,000 a year starting in 25, I'm probably at least 3 years out. Okay. So I bought a Ford Lightning. We've talked about it here on the show. I love it. It's amazing. So I feel like I'm in a good place here. I can do the Ford Lightning.
You're gonna keep that for whenever your son turns 16?
Man, I don't know. Probably not. It's like that'd be too nice of a first vehicle, even if it is 10 years old. But I suppose we're not even 10 years out. He's 5 years out, so it'd be 6 years old. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like it could be cool. I've been like on X all morning with Cybertruck in the search bar, like refreshing the feed like all day. There's a matte black beast mode. I've seen something that has said that it could have as much as 600 miles per charge.
Wow.
That would be unbelievable. Because right now, the biggest issue for me with EVs is range anxiety. Like I have 300 miles, but like I still, like I'm going to Red River Gorge next weekend. And I'm like, that's a 2.5 hour drive. I have 300 mile range. I'll need to charge there to get home. And are there chargers? I don't know.
What are you going there for?
Just a buddy of mine is, got some cabins and just kind of little guys hiking trip.
That'll be
for
fun.
a night. I got a coach, so like I'm going for about half. I'm going up for one night, so
yeah,
it should be fun. Anyway, so all right, let's get into it. We pretty much burned the whole first segment just chatting, but what do we got? What do you got today?
I guess let's jump into our real estate question from a consumer who watches this show. I don't know if a consumer is the right word for this. I guess they're consumers in the real estate market.
Could be anyway.
But they said, I saw one of your social media posts, and you were talking about how supply isn't that elastic. Can you expand what you mean by that? And by supply, we're talking housing market for everybody out there listening. Supply in the housing market is not elastic, is what Jay's video is about.
Well, if you just think about the core of that word, elastic, right? Your waistband might be elastic on your gym shorts, right? I mean, it's stretchy. It's adaptable. It changes. I could put on a pair of gym shorts today, and they're going to fit me differently than they did 10 years ago, but they still fit me, right?
Sure.
So it's just elasticity. In economics, it's the ability to change or adapt is really what it comes down to. What I'm saying there is that demand can change quickly. It is very elastic. Supply cannot, so it's inelastic, right? And if you took economics in college, you've heard this term, and it can be explained in much more complicated terms, but that's its simplest form. And what I was trying to say is that we have seen a wide range of demand, throughout the course of the last few years, right? We actually saw our smallest demand in recent times last Q4, 22, not 23 so far. My team is doing double the production this Q4 than we did last Q4. Okay, of 2022, except it got no run, right? It got no look from the media. Yes, the market is crashing. It's been crashing since 22.
Jay's doing quotes.
Yeah,
You can't
air quotes.
See that if
Sorry.
you're listening.
Sorry, air quotes. I did change the inflection there a little bit, so maybe that was a tell. No, the market's been crashing for a long time, and it still hasn't crashed. And it still hasn't crashed because demand remains strong. Supply, however, inelastic, there is no good solution. It has not changed. It's been low, it's remained low, and it's not changing.
Hey, I'll tell you what, with all the crashing you just said, Hannah's going to have some pretty good social clips, and you were making some faces too. Crashing.
Well, I noticed the laugh. I mean, it was good. I'll try my best. But that's the thing. The only solution for supply is new construction. We need to, and I've said it 1,000 times, I've said it probably 20 times on this show, we need to stimulate supply. We need to have government, create an incentive for builders, small builders, even large builders, any builder, create housing inventory.
Yeah.
If you create housing inventory, you will ease price increases.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to cut to a couple ad sponsors, and we're going to be back with one more real estate topic, and then we'll get into more fun topics. This is the Jay Pitt Show, Talk Radio 1080, real news, real talk. See you in a couple minutes. Welcome back to the Jay Pitt Show, Talk Radio 1080, real news, real talk. We were just talking about how supply in the real estate market is not elastic. And I think one more thing that needs to be brought up here is that when rates do drop, and they will, nobody really knows when, they're starting to drop, and we'll talk about that. Yes, more people will sell because they'll want to buy. But that doesn't create more supply. And Jay and I have talked about this. Guess what? Everybody who sells has to buy a house. So it's really creating no new supply unless that person's moving out of the state or to a new city. So it's really, they're selling, but they're buying. Supply is not elastic.
Yeah. I mean, you have to create inventory that doesn't exist in the current market for supply shortages to change. It's one for one. It's a buyer for a seller, and no new inventory is created. It just doesn't happen. Like, you have a new generation entering family formation years much faster than people are dying, right? So your people that are dying are living in homes, and that, unfortunately, that frees up a piece of inventory for someone else to absorb. But we're creating family units faster than that, right? As long, and you can look at it really simply like this: as long as we're extending our life cycle as a race, as a human race, okay, then we're going to perpetually be short of inventory if we're not consistently creating inventory.
Yep.
Right? You also have housing units exiting their useful life, which works against, it constrains supply further. So, I mean, you have to at least build enough homes, an equivalent amount of homes to the number of family formations to even resemble keeping pace on a yearly basis. And we haven't. We haven't since 2006. So anyway, All
right. Let's, we talked about rates for a second there, but let's dive in real quick. I think people would want to hear us talk about this. Rates have dropped.
They have.
You've been seeing in the news, mortgage demand, applications are up. Let's talk about rates and the different scenarios. I've talked to some lenders over the past couple of weeks that they've been hearing by June of 2024, rates could be 4.5 to low 5s. Now, nobody knows what's going to happen. Rates could be 10% in June of 2024. And I think it is good. You see rates are starting to come down. But let's talk through the two scenarios if rates either go up or if they do come down to that 4.5%. So first, I think everybody knows what's going to happen if rates stay high. So let's talk about what's going to happen if rates come down to 5%. Let's say that.
Well, I cringe at the thought, to be honest, because I think that home ownership and affordability will take an almost unrecoverable hit if we go to 5% interest again. I mean, that's just it. And from a practitioner standpoint and somebody who, I run the #1 real estate team in the state of Kentucky. I have a top 10 real estate brokerage in the city of Louisville. regardless of being half or 25% of the size of the largest firms in town. We are one of 2 firms in the top 10 from last year that have increased production year over year in the city of Louisville. Okay, so like I'm kind of qualified to say this. Yeah. And what I will tell you is I will make more money if rates go down.
Yeah.
But homeowners would be homeowners in Gen Z and young millennial generation will suffer.
Yeah.
Okay, regardless of the point we made a couple weeks ago about their unwillingness to settle, okay, they won't even have the opportunity to settle because the houses I've been talking about buying for $100,000 will be $200,000.
Yeah. I said let's dive into this quick. I don't think we're going to be able to do it.
No, that's
quick.
okay though, but this is important.
I think we need to take a deeper dive into this. And if I was somebody out there listening to this show right now, I would be confused about you saying lower rates makes homes less affordable. And if I'm a consumer out there listening that isn't in the real estate market, maybe they're just wanting to buy a home, that wouldn't make sense to me, right?
Yeah.
Lower rates
should make things better.
Should make things better. And let's be honest, homes aren't very affordable right now with where rates are, at least for the lower end home buyers. So what is better for them? Is it better for rates to stay up high right now for longer or rates come down low? Now, the reason you say it's going to make homes less affordable, and I just did a video on this, everybody listen, if rates come down to 5% again, you're going to see investors buying homes more than even when rates were at 3%. Every investor right now is kicking themselves in the butt that they didn't buy more homes when rates were as low as they were. And they won't make that same mistake twice. You're going to see more investors enter the market and more home buyers enter the market if rates do go that low again. I really don't know what would happen.
Okay, so units sold this year in 2023 nationally is its lowest level since 2010. Okay, so we have seen a substantial decrease in demand. Substantial, okay? And when you hear me out there trumpeting that the market is not crashing, it's because inventory is so low that prices have not taken a hit. In fact, they've increased on average about 5% nationally.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a healthy number, frankly. It is considered healthy, like 2% inflation. Considered healthy.
Yeah.
So here's what's going to happen if rates go to 5. That number will double. Okay? When that number doubles, okay, it has an exponential decrease on inventory, which will continue to drive prices through the roof. So you don't want rates to go to 5% if you're a buyer. Okay? If you're a seller, that's great, but you have to replace your property, as we discussed before. We're not bringing a listing to, unless you're going to go rent an apartment, which guess what? Okay, these are horizontal, competitors here. They're side by side. So when home prices go up, the apartment owners and the rental house owners know that, and they know that you have to pay $250,000 for a house that you used to have to pay $200,000 for. So what do? They raise their rents $100 a month or $200 a month. So the overall cost of housing is going to go up no matter what. You think the price increases we saw in 21 were bad? Let it go to 5% next year. 5 flat. Let it go below 6. It's going to be astronomical, the difference that you see, because there are so many people out there that want to be homeowners that are on the sidelines because of rates being high, because of a lack of affordability already. People are not just going to quit though. Like I'm telling you, you can look at us compared to California. You can look at anywhere in the US compared to Western Europe. Like the spirit of homeownership is alive and well in the human, persona. Okay. And if the average home in Kentucky is $300,000, the average home in California is $900,000, and incomes in California are only 20% higher than they are in Kentucky. That means for the same job that you make $100,000 for here, you make $120,000 there. Except there's a 300% increase in the cost of housing. Tell me we don't have room to grow. It just doesn't make any sense. People buy houses in California, okay, when homes are 300% more expensive.
Yeah.
I know, I'm making the faces. Like it's,
no,
I'm animated.
Something else that made me laugh.
But no, here's the thing. There's room for prices to run. And just so you know, in case you guys want to go out and research it, okay, there is an article in Bloomberg right now where UBS, a investment bank, is calling for 275 point decrease in the federal funds rate next year. The Fed is going to drop rates 275. That's like the extent of what they've raised them since the middle of 22.
So you think it's going to happen?
I
rates
don't
that
think
low?
interest rates will go as low as 5%.
Yeah.
I think I've seen estimates that I think are much more reasonable, that it's 6.5 by middle of 24, 6% by the end of 24. That is much more reasonable. But here's what it's going to, they don't know. We're in uncharted territory. Okay. The Fed doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. The executive branch that appointed the Fed knows even less.
They've never known.
Well, I mean, there's been a more steady hand at the wheel in the past, in my opinion. Okay. But you know what? I don't even really blame them, because we minted 70% of all dollars in the United States economy since the start of COVID. There's never been another event. It is the blackest of all black swan events. COVID was. And many people don't really understand that. Okay, yes, it was a health crisis, but it was an economic atomic bomb.
Yeah, I saw Michael Saylor announce this morning they bought another $500 million worth of Bitcoin. Now own they bought almost $6 billion worth, and own almost 200,000 Bitcoin. Pretty insane.
Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait.
One thing I wanted to say real quick, I really
Bitcoin.
hate the topic, the market's crashing, because what does that mean to somebody? Is that home prices falling? Is that, yeah, sure, the market is crashing if you're doing number of sales from this time last year to the previous.
Yeah.
But I think everybody does it by price, or that's how they should think about it. And if that's how you're looking at it, market's not crashing.
The thing that is so funny to me about all this, and we're up against a break, so we can go after this. All the talk of how real estate agents are overpaid, and we're about to go into another market of multiple offers, and you can't buy a house, but if you don't have great real estate agent representation on the buy side, they will not be talking about this come next summer if this is what we're dealing with. I promise you that.
Yep. No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
But we're going to cut to a couple ad sponsors. We will be back in a few minutes. Talk Radio 1080, real news, real talk. I'm your co-host, Ryan Harris. See you in a couple minutes. Welcome back to the Jay Pitt Show. It's Talk Radio 1080, real news, real talk. I'm your co-host, Ryan Harris. All right, Jay, let's get to some fun stuff now. Have you heard of the shopping cart theory?
I don't think so.
You probably
I might have.
an idea.
Refresh
of what
my
it is.
memory.
So I'll read. I'm going to read what the shopping cart theory is. So the shopping cart is the ultimate litmus test for whether a person is capable of self-governing. To return the shopping cart is an easy, convenient task, and one which we all recognize as the correct, appropriate thing to do. To return the shopping cart is objectively right. There's no situations other than dire emergencies in which a person should not. Simultaneously, it's not illegal to abandon your shopping cart. Therefore, the shopping cart presents itself as the apex example of whether a person will do what is right without being forced to do it. No one will punish you for not returning the shopping cart. No one will fine you, kill you, anything bad to you for not returning the shopping cart. You must return the shopping cart because it's the right thing to do, because it is correct. A person who is unable to do this is no better than an animal, an absolute savage who can only be made to do what is right by threatening them with a law and the force that stands behind it. The shopping cart is what determines whether a person is a good or bad member of society.
That is funny. I kind of get with it. I get with it. Like I always return the shopping cart.
Always.
Pouring down rain, sleet, snow, kids in the car, I return the shopping cart. I always do. I will grab other shopping carts and take them with my cart. And I just do it. I don't know why. It's the kind of person I want to be.
Yeah.
But I also recognize that the difference between me and the person that doesn't return the shopping cart is an opportunity. And so I'm not the mean mug, the person that doesn't do it guy. I don't do that. I'm just like, I'm going to be more successful than that person.
Well, it's also just like, Oh, I never want to be friends with you.
It's like, no, I get it. I'm trying to think of an equivalent.
It's such a selfish thing.
Yeah, to just leave it there.
Just leave it.
Oh, it's so bad.
And
Knowing somebody else has to deal with it. What's another example? There's got to be others.
So I was actually wondering that, and that's what was going to be a question.
I don't know off the top of my head.
ChatGPT, they didn't have any answers.
I kind of want to Google it. I kind of want to Google it and see if I come up with anything. But I'm kind of blanking right now.
It's probably golf, fixing your divots.
Fixing your divots is a good one. It doesn't take long. Not everybody can relate to that because they're not all golfers, but I certainly do. If you've ever had your ball roll up in a divot, and you're trying to actually...
I think another one would be eating at a restaurant and leaving and pushing your chair back in.
Pushing your chair in is one. At home, taking your plate to the sink or put it in the dishwasher. Like if you're like a kid or a teenager or whatever. Like, yeah, my 4-year-old, he's not going to do it. But like the others, I teach them to. There's plenty. I tell you one that I feel like I see. It's not a thing in my house because I guess I'm different than a lot of men. But I don't just leave my stuff laying everywhere all over the house. Like apparently a lot of men they get undressed and they just throw their stuff on the floor and it stays there until their wife comes behind them and picks their stuff up. You can take your stuff to the dirty clothes hamper, man. Come on.
Yeah, we
we
do
doing
our
here?
own laundry for the most part.
You do yours and she does hers?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. That's an interesting concept. Like I feel like we kind of do the same. I'm much more confident in doing my laundry because my wife is very tall.
Folding females' clothes is impossible.
Yeah. My wife is very tall, and so she has to buy longer pants, and when pants fit right, she doesn't want them shrunk. And like I always am very concerned that I'm going to not do her laundry the correct way.
Yeah.
So I will do a whole load of my stuff and have no problem with it whatsoever, but like I'm hesitant to do hers because I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up, especially drying the stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Back to the shopping cart thing real quick. There is a social media account on TikTok, Instagram. I feel like everybody's just on everything now, but he's the shopping cart police, and he'll go to parking lots of Kroger's, Targets, Walmarts, etc., and wait for people to not put their cart back, and he runs over to their car and slaps a magnet on it. That's I don't remember what the magnet says, but it's something about not taking the shopping cart back, and he just gets into these confrontations with people on video.
I've seen, it may be this guy, but I've seen them that when they leave, he sneaks over and he pulls the cart behind their vehicle so they can't back out of their parking spot. And then they get so angry and they like try to confront him, and like some people try to fight the guy.
Oh yeah.
But like, I mean, like they bang their car into the side of a shopping cart. I mean, it can't be good.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get to something else.
Sure.
I saw this on X the other day. Is the parent staring at a phone today while their kids eat breakfast any different than a parent staring at a newspaper 50 years ago?
No different. No different.
Try to think of what is different, because all the responses to this were the same thing about what is different about
Well,
it.
I think you're setting a precedent for your children that they need to pay special attention to a phone, and that it is peripheral to probably a device that they're allowed to use. And so like, we've talked, I think about this on the show, that my 5th grader really wants a phone.
Yeah.
Like really wants. He's a pretty mature kid. He's a bright kid. He's very into video games, and I'm hesitant to give him a phone. But he's getting to the age where he's starting to do stuff on his own and be separated from us, and communication is kind of a concern. So like he'll probably get a phone before too long, and my behavior has modeled the importance of the phone for him. And I don't think our parents reading the newspaper when we were kids did the same thing for newspapers.
Yeah.
Is my point. There was nothing sexy about a newspaper. Is that allowed? All right.
So all the responses to this were, so here's going. Parents never read papers for 10 hours a day. It was all a time thing. So, the newspaper, it ends at some point.
Well, then frame the question about, not at breakfast.
Sure.
Then that's my point.
Yeah.
But okay.
So like, the newspaper there's an end at some point, unless you want to reread something or
Yeah.
I didn't read newspapers ever, but
I didn't really.
would guess you only read the things you wanted to read.
Sure.
Your phone and your feed.
Well, you have an endless supply of things that you want to read that
Exactly.
you're interested in.
So I think that is the biggest
There is a
difference
difference
right there.
There is a difference. But just at the breakfast table, I find, and that's the basis for my answer, I don't think there's much of a difference. Parents everywhere and for all times have been looking for a reprieve from the stress of their children.
Yeah.
Especially when their children are really young. Like, it just is what it is.
Have we talked about this? Do any of your children listen to Miss Rachel?
No, I don't know who that is.
It's a YouTube channel. All our
we-
videos have like 700 million views.
We've never been YouTube big. My oldest is really into like Dude Perfect on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like he's a kind of a fan of that. But that's about all we do.
Man, that'd be a cool job to have.
I'm really hesitant about YouTube because they can find some rabbit holes into some really bad stuff pretty easy. Even in YouTube Kids.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So.
All right, let's go to another thing. This was something I was thinking of, and I actually think about this regularly. I don't know why. So back in the day, people had camcorders, just videoing, and you think back, like my parents have videos of Christmases or Thanksgivings with a bunch of family, and it's like long form video. Somebody's like dedicated job at that get together was carrying around this video
camcorder,
videoing people, and that's what they did the whole time, like just very candid videos. But now everybody has a video camera in their pocket, more powerful than anything we've ever had before, but nobody does this anymore.
Yeah, long form.
Yeah, like if I wanted to go back 5 Christmases ago and watch our families get together, wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
But we could do it 25, 30 years ago. You could find it.
Do you think that's because we've gotten more realistic or more honest about what we're interested in from that stuff? Because I would argue, Ryan, that you've probably got, if you go back 5 Christmases ago, you probably have 50 30-second clips on all the different devices of all the different people that came. And if you pulled them all together, you would have a fair amount of content. It would be like the high points, though. Because, like, I don't know about you, I had that uncle that would film the whole Christmas and the present
And they're
opening.
in it. They go, there's Jay opening his present. Did you have fun today, Jay?
Jay, did you like it? Oh, look at that. That's a football. Whatever.
There's Aunt Sally over there.
Have you ever watched? Did anybody ever watch that stuff after it was filmed? I don't think so.
I feel like we've gone back and watched them randomly.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't think we ever did.
But it was like when I was a little baby.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's cool.
I have no recollection, but it is funny going back and watching that. And it would be cool for people to start doing it again. I think about it a lot because I'm like, maybe I'll go to one of these and I'll carry my phone around dedicated to it.
I think it was also probably somewhat because that was like a device with a singular purpose. And like those cartridges are easily put on a shelf and saved for like long periods of time. But like, dude, I don't want a 28 gig video on my phone that I use for everything else all the time.
So I'll tell you, I went to ChatGPT and I put my thoughts into it about what I just explained to you and said, like, why is this? What factors contributed to this? Number 1, ease of use. Camcorders were dedicated devices designed specifically for recording video. Says some other stuff, but bam, right there.
Sure.
Number 3 on the list, storage and organization. So the 2 things you've said already. But, I mean, phones have a lot of storage until they don't.
Yeah. ChatGPT is in my head.
Social media culture, it talks about our attention spans are way less.
Showing the good, not showing the bad or the boring. Like,
Yeah.
you only show your exceptional stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It would be cool to try to do it on an iPhone, though. I think you might need to buy, though, a dedicated
Like phone?
or
Like a device for it?
camcorder.
Yeah, well, that'd be cool.
Yeah. But, okay, we're going to cut to a couple ad sponsors. We'll be back on the Jay Pitt Show, Talk Radio 1080, Real News, Real Talk. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the Jay Pitt Show. All right, so we got a little serious and animated about the real estate. You got me triggered on the market is crashing dialogue. We've talked some fun stuff. So where are we going now? What do you think, Ryan?
Let's see. Let's talk about multitasking.
I figured you were going to go there.
Yeah.
I kind of like the busiest day question too. We're gonna have to come to that. I think we can
we'll
get
do that as well.
We can get those both.
Yeah.
in.
So first, real quick, let's just talk about multitasking. So once again, I've started thinking about this. I saw a video of a guy talking about his thoughts through multitasking. I really agree. I think multitasking is BS.
I'm 1,000%
I think it's an excuse for when somebody can't focus on one singular thing to do, and they try to make themselves feel better by saying they're multitasking and working on a couple things at once, when in reality, they're not getting either of those things done or being productive at all.
I tend to agree. It's a pass. It's a pass for being marginally effective at a lot of different things. And maybe that's what you need. Like I can tell you this, like in our household, right? I think my wife feels pulled in a million different directions, right? I think she's jealous of how narrow in scope my responsibilities are, right? In actuality, what I would love to know, if there was ever any way to figure this out, right? What do we bring to the situation? Our own baggage, right? Individually, she and I, and in the way that we do things. Would I be more capable of doing things that I don't ever really consider doing? Because I think I am a slightly more resistant to take on tasks that I'm less familiar or less confident with. But I am ruthlessly efficient at the things that I do and do regularly. I am maybe not 100%, but like fast, effective,
good.
Consistent, near perfect, right? Like I do the dishes. The dishes are done, right? Like the dishes don't pile up. Like I take out the trash. I don't miss trash day. Like, you know what I mean? Like those things around the house, and just looking at kind of maybe more mundane things like that and the difference between the sexes, I think is kind of interesting. My wife is consistently frustrated by her responsibilities, and I'm consistently offering, can I help? And she doesn't want my help. She doesn't want me to do them. She doesn't want them done the way that I would do them. But then she's also frustrated.
I thought you were just going to leave that at frustrated.
Well, she is consistently frustrated, but that's okay.
No, I'm kidding. Love you, Jen.
Yeah. No, she's great. She is great. But she also will take on a million things. I mean, there are 48 bags at the office for Angel Tree right
There's
now.
a lot of stuff in the office.
We adopted as a company, this is not a brag situation, although I am quite proud of it. We adopted between Family Scholar House and Angel Tree 48 individuals as a company this year. I mean, and there is stuff everywhere in the office. But we have a
lot of pink stuff. Too.
I
walked that back.
A lot of little girls. A lot of little girls. Maybe it's because all the women in the office did the adopting and they wanted little girls. I don't know. But
maybe we'll have to do that as a competition.
There's a
next year
few
in the brokerage
pounds of items.
Maybe male versus female who like adopts the most.
That would be interesting. Battle of the Sexes.
If it was mostly females, that's a bad look on us.
There's a lot of, you know what though, I'll stand by this, and this is true with my own kids. My boys, they want few good things. My daughter wants all the things. And it's like, there's little 8 million little pieces and all the pink and all the stuffed animals. And my son's like, I want an Xbox. And my other one's like, I want a basketball. Like I want a football. I want a bat. Like it's like single individual items, and Evie wants all the things.
So he wants the Xbox over a PlayStation?
No, I think he wants a PlayStation, actually.
So
PlayStation
I don't
5.
know if it's still the same way because I don't have either.
PS5
play video
is what he
games
wants.
anymore, but PS5 is good about PlayStations. You get the live with it.
And I guess
Xbox, I believe, I know you used to have to pay for live. I'm not sure if you do anymore.
He has a Nintendo Switch, and that's what he's been playing, and that's actually really good.
Yeah.
But PS5 is supposedly better. I said Xbox.
I'm excited for my son to get to the age where he can play video games and just kick his butt in basketball and football on there. That's gonna be the best.
Hey, speaking of, I gotta share this. So Matt Hoagland, one of our great agents, had his annual client party at Main Event last night.
Yep.
And they did it up really nice. They rented the whole place. Shout out to Matt. He is an amazing agent, and he shows his clients like a lot of love. So he asked me to come. So we come and bring the kids. They love Main Event. Go over there. We eat and we play games. And there's a big sign in front of the Papa Shot, and they're running a contest for adults and for under 16. So of course we had to go. We had to play, and very quickly Preston, my 11-year-old, beats the high scorer for under 16. what appeared to be significantly older than Preston, I was actually surprised that he was under 16, comes along and ties his score and adds his name. Preston immediately walks up to the machine and absolutely destroys the high score.
Nice.
I mean, it went from like 79 to like 90. And my high score at the time was 84. And so he's beating me, and he's very proud of it. And I took a little break, and then I walked back over, and I threw up a 90 the first time back. So I tied him. I brought him over, showed him that I tied. I was like, hey, that's cool. And he's like, all right, that's cool. And we both went one more, and I got 103, which beat the high score for adults. And Preston went again and trying to beat me, got a 101.
Oof.
Lost by 2. But the end of the night, the Pitts family had both 103 and 101 high scores. Like a $50 gift card or something
Nice.
apiece. So
Nice.
anyway, I told Matt he's not getting away. He can keep my gift card, but he's not getting away without paying Preston. Preston was so proud, man. It was cool.
Yeah. So, all right, let's tie up the multitasking thing real quick. We were just talking about. So, I love this. So, let's say I have a billion things to do, Jay. You only have one thing to do on your to-do list. Guess what? We can only do the same amount of things at once.
That's right.
So
I can create a new list after I complete my one.
Yeah, we can each work on one thing at one time.
That's it.
I'm going to have more things after I complete that one thing. But, this is true for everything. Just thinking about that thing you need to do is going to make you feel worse than doing it.
Absolutely.
Even though you don't want to do it.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this question then. For productivity's sake, is it better to have in the back of your mind the other things you need to do while you're doing the one, or is it to focus on the one and then figure out what's next?
I think it's to focus on the one. Well, I guess if you're thinking of a real estate agent, you focus on the one and know you might have a call or email that comes in that you have to respond to immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then you go focus on that other thing
right away.
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, let's do last topic of the show. What is typically your busiest day of the week?
I would say Mondays, and it's on purpose. Monday, I front load the week, right? I always have our team meeting Monday. I follow that up with usually a leadership meeting. I follow that up usually with like a check-in meeting with our mortgage company, the guy that runs our mortgage company. I spend a lot of time in the office. Work-wise, it is busiest, but I also usually have some sports kids thing that evening. Like Monday is a day that I get a big head start on the week by crushing a lot of things on Monday. Friday is probably second, although for different reasons than you might expect. We bookend our week, Monday and Friday, with very important activities in the morning time. And then most real estate agents are either out showing or they're knocking off early on Friday to kind of like get some mental.
They're getting lunch and drinks.
Lunch and drinks is part of that, but like they're blowing off some steam, they're taking some rest, they're playing golf, they're doing whatever they do because they're going to be out working all weekend, right? And so it's nothing. Our office is far and away the quietest it ever is on Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon is so quiet. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a closing, you're not in the office on Friday afternoon, which consequently allows me a lot of opportunity to get a lot of stuff done because, as you know, my doorway stays dark. Like people are in my doorway all day long. And on Friday afternoon, there's nobody there to be in my doorway. So I relish my Friday afternoon time.
Yeah. I'm trying to think my busiest day of the week. I would say probably is Monday. I think I work out the least amount on Monday, though.
Really?
Doing that.
I never miss a Monday workout. Never.
I always do a Sunday one, but for some reason, I can't explain to you why I don't on Monday. I think I like a slower Monday more, try to make it as slow as possible, and then hit the week running kind of around lunchtime Monday.
Okay.
I saw an article talking about this, and a lot more people are starting to do it where they start their Mondays a little slower, just ease into the week. I don't know why. I've been kind of liking it, but they're still busy.
For me, I start my every day almost the same, even weekends. Like I'm up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock almost every day, unless we've been out late or whatnot. But like I don't go into the office until 10 a.m. almost every day.
Yeah.
But I'm working from 5:30 to 7, then I'm taking the kids to school, then I'm in the gym from 8 to 9, and then I'm showered and then I'm at the office. So I've gotten a lot done already by the time I get to the office.
Yeah, I tell you right now, I run most mornings, become a runner, but right now is the hardest time.
It's cold,
I'm
babe.
up about 5 a.m. and man, getting out there, 22 degrees, it's tough.
It's that first mile.
But your heart rate stays low.
Dude, that first mile, I always remember the first mile, maybe the first two, depending on, how long I'm going. Like before that breath normalizes,
Yeah.
I don't know about you. You're probably a better runner than I was, but it always took me a mile, 2 miles to get that consistent breath.
Sometimes 3. But
Yeah.
all right, we got to end this show. I'm going to let Jay sign us off here in a sec. But I think moral of the story from today's show, return your shopping cart, people. If not, you're a savage, you're an animal.
You're a savage, you're an animal.
Return your shopping cart.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, take it
Yeah,
away.
absolutely. And there's nothing sexy about the newspaper. And apparently you are allowed to say that on the radio. So got confirmation during the break. But anyway, thank you guys. We appreciate you joining in. As always, check us out on the socials at J Pitts Realtor, at
RyanHarris.re.
RyanHarris.re. All the platforms, all the things, like our videos. Thank you. Help us get to 1 million views on our popular parenting advice video on Instagram. That'd be nice. Anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Hope you have a wonderful week, and we will be back next week with the J Pitts Show on Talk Radio 1080.
Peace.